Maybe we should.
Afternoon, Jared. Nick?
Afternoon.
Ooh. Well, how's your mother feeling?
Much better, thanks. Be up and around in a couple of days.
Good, I'm glad to hear it. Nick, things been quiet around here?
Yeah. What brings you out, Sheriff?
This telegram came from Martin Erskine this morning.
From Martin?
Yeah.
Janet Davis died insane 2 years ago. Whereabouts of son unknown. Would have answered sooner, but the catfish are biting. Regards, Jackson, St. Louis Courier.
So?
I didn't think much about it at first, Nick, but then I realized that Martin telegraphed St. Louis just hours after we found Everett Gibbons in the livery stable.
Well, do you think this thing has anything to do with Ab Gibbons' murder?
Just might. You know how Martin digged back for a story.
Janet Davis. You know, it's funny, I remember that name, but I don't know why.
Yeah, well, I wired that Jackson fella in St. Louis, and here's the answer I got. Shocked over tragic death of Martin Erskine. Regarding Janet Davis, suggest you refer to Stockton Eagle back files for full account on her husband, Emery Davis, and Miner's bank failure.
Miner's bank? That was years ago.
Yeah, well, I think we ought to investigate this whole thing further.
All right. Best place to start would be Martin's office.
Good. I'll meet you back in town. Fine.
Nick, I'll spell you just as soon as I get back.
Jared? Are you going into town? I have to get Mother some medicine. Can I go with you?
Why, Miss Barkley, I should be delighted to have your enchanting company.
Nick, where'd the sheriff want?
Well, we lost a couple of head of cattle, and, well, he had a couple of leads he thought we should know about.
Your carriage awaits.
Now, what is all that with the hand-kissing?
Crude fellow. Knows nothing of continental manners. Giddy up.
Continental man.
Ooh, I'll be in my office for a few hours, so I'll pick you up about 3, all right?
Fine, I have some shopping to do anyway.
Giddy up.
If you're planning to go in and see that doctor, well, I just wouldn't advise it. Oh, the nerve!
Mrs. DeCoven, what happened?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But if I had done what he... Last night, I had this terrible pain in here and all in through here. Onions. I know I shouldn't eat them, but they taste so good cooked in stew. Well, my husband said, why don't you go see the doctor tomorrow and see if he'll give you some medicine or whatever? Whatever indeed. In 20 years, Dr. Moreau never asked me to take my clothes off. Audra, I warned you now.
Audra.
Dr. Belden, shame on you. I just saw Mrs. DeCoven.
Oh. Well, unfortunately, I'm discovering that diagnostic techniques have advanced more rapidly than some patients' understanding. I trust that your mother is improving.
Well, she doesn't want to stay in bed any longer, and she's starting to give orders again.
Ah, that's a sure sign of recovery.
Yes, thanks to you.
She's a good patient. And I might add, she has a very competent nurse by her side.
Well, I did try to keep after her to take her medicine. She finished it this morning.
Good. I'll refill it. Just take a few minutes.
Nothing. Keep this up much longer, I'm gonna need glasses. What are you doing?
Just going through these indexes again. Martin published a pretty good newspaper, but he sure didn't know anything about keeping records. G's filed under W. Here, take a look at this. First Selden's obituary, filed under O. Now, wait a minute. O for obituary.
Well, we looked under D for Davis. Where do you suppose it'd be?
I don't know. Why don't you start over here? I'll take these and we'll check every file in here.
For heaven's sake, stop brooding. What's done is done. You just have to start over, that's all.
In Stockton, that's impossible.
And someplace else. St. Louis. Mother said we could come there, live with her until you're on your feet.
Please, Janet, I'm very tired. Leave me alone.
Very well. But you'll have to do something. And soon.
Soon? Yes, Father, very soon now. Soon. Oh, there we are.
Thank you. Well, I know you must be busy, so I'd better be going.
I was thinking of taking the day off. Maybe taking a quiet drive through your beautiful countryside. I find that most relaxing.
It sounds lovely.
I was thinking, perhaps you'd do me the honor of joining me?
Well, thank you, but I'm supposed to meet my brother at 3.
I'll have you back before 3, I promise.
Well,
The idea doesn't appeal to you?
on the contrary, I'd love to go.
Wonderful. Wonderful. If you just wait outside, I'll close up the office.
Is something wrong, Doctor?
Well, for one thing, that doctor, it's pretty formal under the circumstances. Do you suppose we could make it Jim?
All right, Jim.
That's better. Audra, there's an old ranch house down that road. I've been there on several occasions. It fascinates me. Would you like to see it?
If you'd like.
Or perhaps you'd rather go on.
No, I'd like to see it.
Good. Good.
Despondent over failure of the Miners Bank, which closed its doors after this newspaper revealed that Davis had overextended the bank's capitalization, investing in worthless mining ventures. Heavy withdrawals created a run on the bank and forced its closure when depositors learned that the principal investors, namely Everett Givens and Victoria Barkley, had withdrawn their funds in support for what they did together.
Martin made a note here. See follow-up June 15th. Widow leaves town. Mrs. Emery Janet Davis, with her 9-year-old son, departed this morning's stage. Eastbound for St. Louis, presumably to take up new residence in that city. The Davis family holdings, including the ranch home northeast of town, have been turned over to the county clerk for disposition. Well, that must be that old place that the county is always trying to sell every year for taxes.
Yeah. Son finds body hanging in study. Sheriff, why don't we get a couple of horses and take a little ride?